Hey, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another reading. We got a reading on blessings today, so not a big introduction needed. One of those readings, blessings coming in for you, um, guided by spirit as always. Pile number one, pile number two, and pile number three. Feel free to pause the video if you need to, and we'll get stuck into pile number ones. Alright, pile number ones. It's gonna be an abstract one today. So as always, remember to use your own intuition. Take mental note or physical notes if you need to. Now, that was somewhat of like quite a big reading actually. It's kind of filling a lot of the page. I'm kind of getting the vibe of an eye, but I think more importantly in this reading, it's like what is within the eye, because it's like what is within the sight. So I feel like the reading isn't necessarily the eye here, or the focus isn't necessarily the eye. The focus is what is within the eye. What is the sight? What are we seeing? So again, use your own intuition, pile number ones. One of the things that I'm getting is I was almost getting a little bit like the ram, the Aries ram here. So whatever that means to you, you could be, it's a reading talking about blessings. So it could be something this type of blessing is something that you're going to get. You're going to fight for. You've got the drive for it. It's not like luck. It's something that you've gone and got. It's something I'm getting the image here of like hunted. You've hunted for it. You've won it. Like you understand, like that Aries energy. And then something else I was getting kind of here, it reminded me a little bit of like electricity coming from the eye here. Like I'm going to actually continue it on so you can kind of get what I'm talking about. Anyone who's into Marvel comics, superhero movies, will understand that kind of that electricity coming out of the eyes. I don't know, it represents a lot of things really. It's like kind of a sense of power though, more than Marvel or comics actually. What this reminded me of in terms of the energy was actually the character called Raiden from Mortal Kombat. So some of you might know exactly who I'm talking about here. Some of you might be completely lost. So I recommend just Googling the character called Raiden. I believe it's Raiden. And the computer game's called Mortal Kombat. They've also made movies on it. So that's to do with like lightning, um, that character. Just trying to think about more of what he represents. Lightning. So yeah, look, I'm gonna strip this down to I think the blessing that you're coming into is a sense of power. Um, Obviously, it doesn't matter if you're a male or female watching this. I feel like you're coming into a sense of power, and this sense of power is coming to you through you competing. You've competed for something and you've won. I've got the window open. I'm not sure if you're picking up on this. But yes, if you've won pile number ones, someone else has definitely lost. Let me see if I can close this window quickly. I should have just let that. I should have just let the noise continue. To be honest. But yeah, actually, maybe that is something to note. Nothing is coincidental, actually, but um, maybe there is a sense of you needing to empathize or be aware of your win is someone else's loss. Um, I'm also feeling here as well. It's like there's a great power. So remember, this doesn't always, whatever power means to you, but like sometimes, because that was like a child crying, it's like it reminds me of like power doesn't always have to be like um, Jeff Bezos power or a policeman and a civilian power. It's also the power of a parent to a child. There's a clear power dynamic there, which kind of puts the child at a clear disadvantage. So when I'm talking about this power, it doesn't always mean in this kind of dramatic, although I've used analogies like Raiden and electricity and almost godlike power. I'm kind of reining it in here for like a very down to earth example of, that power could be possibly, that famous Spider-Man saying, with great power comes great responsibility. It's like, yeah, you've come into this new power, but almost don't let it get to your head. Although it's the type of power which you could let get to your head, if that makes sense. So, like I said, it doesn't have to be this power over a lot of people. Could be. Some of you watching out there, I'm absolutely sure it is going to be that. You getting a promotion or you doing well in your business, becoming a CEO, something along those lines. But then I feel like for some of you out there, it is kind of a different perspective where that power is getting tested. You're getting tested. And I think part of that test is just understanding also that you were in a position as well. And, in many ways I can relate to this, but you were once in a position of um, being a person out of power or not in power. So there's an opportunity for you here to use that power more wisely. And I'm just getting the feeling here, like, so it's like a blessing is that you've got new power, but the test really is how you're using that power. And for whatever reason, I feel like this is like a type of power which is really kind of impactful, power number ones, because like I originally said, it's like the analogy that was used here was almost like godlike power, but and we're not comparing ourselves obviously to God, but godlike power, where it's the type of power where one may be tempted to play God when we're not. So beautiful blessing, but it was, kind of a humbling message for some people out there. It was a pleasure to be the communicator of that humbling. But that's what Spirit wanted you to hear. And like I said, for those of you who don't know who Raiden is for Mortal Kombat, I recommend researching him and possibly even going onto YouTube, seeing if there's like a little biography or something you can listen to and see if there's any clues for you there, pile number one. Any clues in his story and how that might relate to you. So as always, thank you for being here. Please do remember to like, comment and subscribe, and check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. I'll see y'all in the next reading. Bye. Alright, pile number 2's abstract reading. Hope you like the abstract readings. If you don't, I'm still doing them anyway. Okay, there's an energy here instantly of the word coming through is actually fencing. And that's kind of interesting because it's like there's the fencing of a wall, creating a wall. And then there's also a fencing of the sport, the sword fighting. I don't know, there's a better way to explain it, but there's fencing, what they do in the Olympics and just as a sport. So that was your key word. Remember to use your own intuition. Pile number 2's. I'm also getting a sense here of kind of animals. Ooh, fencing, animals, fences, animals. I'm getting yes, it's like farming, possibly. There's an energy there of like, I'm getting like creatures like rabbits, moles, possibly touching on kind of like prey. This is to do with a blessing. To be honest, there's quite a dark energy in the readings today. And it's not like dark in a negative way, but it's like I feel like some of these blessings are coming through like a little bit of a Saturn energy, or not even a Saturn energy, but a competitive energy, that's the word. If that even fits in the thumbnail, it might be called like competitive blessings. Because I feel like these blessings are coming through in a way where like there's been some kind of competition in order to get these blessings. And it's like, so pile number two, I feel like the blessing that you've got is the accumulation of something. I'm not sure how that's going to apply to you, but it would be the accumulation of something, i.e., it's the farmer who's got a lot of eggs from his chickens. It's the farmer who has a lot of meat from its cattle. It's the farmer who's got a lot of grain from his crop. The farmer has produce, but we can't deny that it was from the fact of farming. You can't deny the fact that produce is the result of something else being essentially sacrificed. I don't want to go too raw we are, but it's the sacrifice of something else. And now I don't want this to sound again like we're going to the dark place of something satanic, or you know what I'm getting at here, pile number twos, because I've been reading the Bible a lot recently too, and I'm coming to realize that anything can sound like that. And sorry if my voice keeps on going in and out. I'm losing it. Too many readings. But anything can sound in that. Anything can be perceived down that super dark path if you choose to perceive it that way. But anyways, my point is after reading the Bible, I've come to realize that near enough everything is built upon sacrifices. Near enough everything. Near enough everything in terms of the career that you've chosen, pile twos, to your parents, as I just said, to the food that we eat. Like really, someone along the lines have had to sacrifice, or to make someone else a sacrifice, quite literally. Now, if this is something that we're conscious of or not, without a doubt, this is the way of this 3D reality. And I think one of the things that really opened my eyes to this most was when I first started to grow my own vegetables. This was quite some time ago now. And at the time, maybe let me reword this so I don't have to talk about people. But at the time, I was in conflict with how veganism and vegetarians, that was a real big trend at that time. Not so much anymore. It's just kind of merged into society now. But at that time, it was really kind of making its breakthrough as a trend. It was, people cared no less about that anymore, really, in my opinion. But at that time, it was more of a thing that was starting to break through. And what confused me a lot was from gardening, when I was harvesting my vegetables, I had a sensitivity when I was pulling those crops out, especially a crop like carrots, where you're literally pulling them out of the ground. I felt like a life force energy was getting taken when I was doing that. So I used to always have an honouring of, even when I used to take vegetables from the ground. And I used to have people having different opinions on, hey, killing animals is bad, but vegetables, it's okay. And my argument was that everything is sacrificed to eat it. And the biggest argument I used to always get with that was, no, it's a different type of energy, or with animals it's different. And my perspective was always, I guess it's how you feel about the animal. It's how you feel about the vegetable. There's someone out there who could really, really, really love trees and not care too much for a chicken. When you see a tree getting cut, it could break that person's heart. And when you see a chicken being slaughtered, it can feel less painful. So I realized quite early on, or I wouldn't say early on actually, because there's some people who catch on to this a lot sooner than I did. But I realized that the honoring should be in everything's death, not just the things that we feel attached to. Now, don't get me wrong, like the full-on slaughtering of a cow or a goat is very different to plucking a carrot. But I think to deny the carrot's life and to pedestalize this cow's life is no different to the stupid act that we make of someone in Syria being murdered compared to a small child being murdered in Syria, to a small child being murdered in the Prime Minister's or the President's daughter. You know, it's the same stupidness. So, pile number 2's, I know that was a little bit of a rant, but I hope you kind of got something from that. Your blessing, like I said, seems to come from you've accumulated something. But I think in that accumulation, you're coming to realize possibly what I've just communicated in this message, that with the accumulation of this thing, there is sacrifice that was made. And you don't have to necessarily see it as a dark thing, but it is a necessary thing. And smell the bullshit on other people is what I would say. Is we live in a society at the moment which is it that we condemn certain things and pedestalize certain things. When someone makes money in this way, it's great. When someone makes money in this other way, it's bad. And I think pile number 2's be solid with your belief system, be solid in the way that you're doing your own business or you're spending your own time, accumulating your own blessings. And that's what Spirit wants you to kind of take away from this, I think. So pile number 2's awesome reading. Remember to, I don't think I really even needed this drawing too much in this reading, but remember to pause on this illustration, see if you can spot anything inside of it. I'm seeing a little bit of the infinity symbol in here. I'm also seeing kind of fish. So it could be like the fencing of fish as well, like the fish in a tank. See if you can kind of spot any other messages in the illustration, because I really didn't talk about the drawing itself too much here, so pause on it and see if you get any other messages. But for now, I'm going to leave you to it. Please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Take care, pile 2's. Okay, finally, pile number 3's. Gonna have an abstract reading today. Strap yourself in, gents. Strap yourself in, ladies. I don't know why I said that. That's what does that remind me of? I think there's a clue there. Reminds me a little bit of going to a cinema. And like a movie. It reminds me a little bit of going on like a ride or a roller coaster too. Remember to use your own intuition. Pile number 3s. Yeah, there's something to do with like riding here. Riding on something. Don't know how that's to do with a blessing, but something to do with riding here. And now that I'm looking at this, I'm almost seeing like a route. I'm seeing like a... I'm seeing a route and I'm seeing code. Oh, it's a double there. I think there's someone singing in the background too. It's reminding me a little bit of like I was gonna say Arabic, but it's not really Arabic. It's like, is it Hebrew? You know when Jewish people are in ceremony and they're doing their chant, kind of getting that. I'm not sure what that's called, Palfreys. So I feel like the word wisdom has just come through very strong, overpowering probably most of what I've just said. So the blessing that you're getting or coming into Pal 3s is wisdom. And then Spirit is reminding me that there's some competition here in these readings. So there's something amazing, which is like these two parts of this are like almost identical, and that's not coincidence. It's like JJ. I'm seeing J. Almost like the words like Jatu. You can see if that means anything. Put that into Google Translate. JTU. See if anything comes up. Jatu. Could almost be African. Sounds like African. Jatu. Sounds tribal. So competition. Yeah, I feel like pile number 3s, you might just be your blessing might be in like your intellect. So you've out competed people with your intellect, or your, it could even be like your spiritual knowledge. I'm still hearing those sounds in the background. It's like it's like you've just performed better. You've performed better. I'm seeing like a little eagle here as well. I think this is one where you could really look into this pile number 3s and spot the different symbols that you see. I'm seeing like the eagle there. You could be like American. Reminds me of is it the bald eagle? Like USA. I'm almost seeing like a cobra here. A cobra. Which is again reminding me a little bit of like Egypt, like the snake charmers. I'm kind of seeing a little bit of a landscape here. It's reminding me of something quite rural, like ancient temples and stuff like that. So yeah, let me kind of just rein this back in. There's a lot going on here, obviously, part 3, so sorry it's a little bit scattered. Your blessing is that you're coming into a new understanding of wisdom. It could be quite literally that you are fellow channelers, pile 3s, and like you're just touching on different. You're just coming in. You're just killing it, basically. You've basically just upgraded your channeling ability, where you're able to, like I'm saying, like you're competing. You're not even competing anymore, because you've you've really started to master some form of channeling system or something, you know. I'm waving my pen around here because I'm like trying to feed you the information, which is reminding me of this message a lot. It's like a feed. So, yes, I don't know if that's making sense to you, Palfreys. It's quite a complicated reading, this one, but I hope I've kind of explained that well. You're coming into a new sense of wisdom. There is this sense here of like, it's like you've made your own lane somehow. And for some of you, that you might not relate to that much, because Spirit's telling me some of you or someone out there who's listening to this, they're almost doing this thing privately. So you got me over here posting what I do, channeling on YouTube, and I've just got a feeling that some of you out here are doing your own versions of this, but it's private. But Spirit is still kind of giving you your roses and saying, trust me, you're light years ahead of many people. So you've got some confirmation on that blessing there, Palfrey, is that some of you aren't doing this stuff kind of publicly, but you've just really come into your own lane. And yeah, Spirit's just kind of reminding you to just pause this video and unpick the things that you're seeing in this script, in this code, because you've got some personal messages in here. I'm also seeing like an E that's backwards here. Like Jean just came through, the name Jean. I'm also getting like a vibe of a swan for some reason. I'm not sure what the symbology of a swan is. Like this kind of reminded me a little bit of the neck of a swan, but more so than just the illustration, just the vibration came through of a swan. This bottom landscape, it reminds me of something rural, but these don't really remind me of trees. They remind me more of like ruins. You know, like the temples that have kind of eroded a lot. It reminds me of that. There's also kind of some form of creature coming through just on that end here. Seeing kind of a bit of a well here. You know, do you understand? There's so much going through with this one. That I think you just need to pause on it, but it's to do with wisdom, your blessing Palfreys. I hope that was clear at least. If you like the video, please do remember to like, comment and subscribe. Check out the If You Pause website, ifyoupause.com. And I'll see you in the next reading, Palfreys. Take care.